Twin flame romance. Ooh.
Mm.
Yeah, so this video is about our experience with deepening that romance in our union and a little bit of a healing that we recently done and how we're, moving through that.
Mm.
And so we have ever since we come in a harmonious union, been we've been very focused on life purpose, which is
Mhm.
it is like the foundation. It's a very important component of your union. Like you and your twin flame together, you have a mission, you have a purpose that you share
Mhm.
together. It's a gift that
Mhm.
your union gives to the world. And so, yeah, I was saying is since we've come into HTFU, we've been very focused on purpose, and we've been together, married like a little over 3 years now
Mhm.
in harmonious union. And
Three
so
and a
we
half years.
3.5 years,
Mhm.
yes.
Mhm.
And so we started noticing in patches how we were hitting, like kind of having a rut in
Mhm.
terms of only focusing on this one aspect of our union. Because if you're not focusing on every component of your union and expanding every component, then you're not truly expanding. So, yeah, one major area was romance. And so we did a lot of healing the other day
Mhm.
and realized that, okay, this needs some nurture, this needs some care, this needs attention and focus. And as we were sitting there, all of a sudden had an idea, date jar.
Mhm.
And well, we'll get into that too, but I think we should share a little bit more about the healing. Like, yes, in a rut, but like, yeah, like what exactly were we healing through? Not only focusing on the attention of it, but what was the other components of it that we were healing through? Of course, without going into detail.
Well, I mean, okay. I feel like we were working like from morning to evening,
Yeah.
and that was basically it,
Mm-hmm.
and we haven't really done any dates in the time we've been in
It was
Harmonious.
like dates, but it wasn't called a date.
Yeah, exactly. Like we
Yeah.
had some outings a little bit, I would say, but yeah,
Yeah.
we have some things we probably is gonna go on a
Yeah.
bucket list.
Yes, yes. You should always be dating, even in, harmonious union way. You should always be dating, because it's just fun and it keeps it alive and,
Yeah. And also there was COVID for a lot of this
exactly.
duration, so that was also part of why we didn't,
Right,
venture out so much.
explore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think a big part of it too was like letting go of our idea
Mm.
of romance because we both had, that was it, is we both had like an expectation of what that was going to look like when I flew to Norway and what it would be like. But it
Mm.
was actually quite the opposite, but not in a bad way.
Mm.
And also too, like, there was things such as we had always been seeking for our one true love and going in and out, well, on my end, going in and out of relationships. And I know that you explored relationships too,
Mhm.
but it was more of like living in a fantasy of having that perfect romance.
Mhm.
But then when you would enter into a relationship, it was totally not that. And it was very disappointing and it just like repulsive. And so exit out of the relationship, but then, through our inner healing work, we manifested each other. And so,
Yeah,
yep,
I think like
yeah,
before you move on there, because maybe
yeah,
some people can resonate with that. Like
mm-hmm,
from a young age, is that especially if you're maybe have had a lot of like a difficult family situation growing up, a lot of traumas,
yeah,
maybe you kind of like retreated into like this like fantasy world. I know I
mm,
did
me
because of
too.
like how my life was. So I would just kind of like live in my fantasy world, which often revolved in like uh, not really so much about like kind of like you know, the what's the good word for that?
I don't know what it
Well,
is that you,
it's basically not the sexual part of it so much, but more like the just being with someone,
yeah, the
right?
romance,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, or
Leading
just
into
like
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
just like everyday things,
Mm-hmm.
just kind of like so and that is not always gonna look the way it does on the outside. It's just
Mm-mm.
like, what is this? this doesn't match my idea when you spend so many years living in that spot in your head, right?
It's true. Yeah,
Mm,
this has been a pattern in our union is that we have an expectation, not in just romance,
mm,
with the other areas where there's like an expectation going into it.
mm.
And we forget that, oh crap, there's blocks. There's inner work to be done in
Mm,
order to, manifest that perfection in that area. This has happened too with our abundance,
mm,
like having this idea of, oh, it would be super easy, and it is, but
mm,
like avoiding the blocks and things like that. But anyways, back to what we're talking about. So yeah, God is the foundation of your harmonious union,
mm,
and it's allowing God to romance you in the way that God wants to romance you. And it may look different from what you're used to, but it's always perfect
mm,
for you and for your union. And so, and that can happen in many different ways. Like,
mm,
it's really just letting go of that tunnel vision
mm,
of what you expect and letting it just bloom and blossom. And it is
mm.
more beautiful than you could fathom when you just surrender and let God show you what that actually looks like for you.
But you gotta put it as a priority and
You
actually
do.
doing the
Yes.
'cause otherwise you'll be like, "What's going on here?" And
Yeah.
this is why you need, or at least I this is for us, like, we're very, big on experiences. It feels
Mhm.
really good having
Yeah.
experiences, and, of course, if you're working all day or sitting inside all day, like, you need those, like, filling your cup up,
Yeah.
and it gives you kinda, like, more to give, uh, when you do that, and
Yeah.
there's a lot more shares to be done from that,
Mhm.
inspiration, right?
Mhm.
Mhm,
Yeah, so that leads us into a date jar.
mhm,
So when we were doing our inner healing work, I just had the idea. I actually had never seen this before. It just kind of come to me. But then I realized, oh wow, looking it up, it's actually a thing.
mm,
So date jar, basically, we both put some ideas that we had on paper. Adam didn't show me, his ideas, and I didn't show Adam my ideas. We folded up the pieces of paper, and we put like a outdoor on the outside, like a blue color,
mhm,
and indoor activities for like a red color. That way, if we're not feeling like really going out, or if it's maybe a rainy week or something, we
mhm,
can pick, an
mhm,
indoor one.
mhm.
So, anyways, we did that, and we had our first. Well, we did two because we were so excited. So we just pulled two in one
Well,
day.
also, like, next week, I'll be also having a surgery, so it's
Yeah.
kinda like we might not be doing a lot of things,
Yeah.
so it's just like might as well,
Yeah.
you know?
So we're like the whole day basically is a date, a day date. But yeah, so we went on an adventure in the city. We live in Norway. So we explored the city by the water on a boardwalk,
Mhm,
had a fun time, went to the mall. We'll be having sushi and watching a movie for dinner.
mhm,
So yeah, it's already, you can feel like this process is bringing a lot of fun and lightness and
mhm,
and romance into our union.
mhm,
And so we felt it was important to share with you, regardless of if you are physically with your twin flame right now or still working on it,
mhm,
because this is something too that I did while I was still in separation,
mhm,
romancing myself. And this is still what we're doing, but in a different way. I would take myself on a trip. I would go, yeah, like I take myself out to the movie. Like, this is something that Jeff and Shalia have really like they support all unions with, is like that romance attraction,
mhm,
and really like nurturing that self attraction for yourself, and really like dating, like taking yourself on dates,
mhm.
doing special things for yourself, and that cultivates your union's romance.
And you don't have to go out to do
You
that.
don't.
Sometimes it's just sitting outside and,
Yeah.
being in the sun or
Hmm.
whatever that is, spa night or,
Yeah. Could be anything.
yeah, it doesn't
Hmm.
have to be so expensive or, time consuming or, energy
Exactly.
consuming. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's just whatever works.
Yeah.
Make yourself a date jar, union or not. Yeah. Challenge.
Challenge. Do
Hmm.
yourself a date jar.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Do you feel complete with
I
that?
do. I do.
All right.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video.